Hi, my name is Nikki, and I'm here with Elizabeth Ekema. Going to be asking you a little bit about your series here. I was wondering if you could tell me first what got you into the art world in the first place.
I started drawing as a kid and just continued drawing and drawing and drawing. I decided to go to music school, was not for me. Took a little bit of a break, went to animation school and decided this is what I want to do with my life, want to create art and kind of encourage younger generations to also create art.
Now, I know you were telling me before the interview a little bit about wanting to become a teacher and how you are teaching a toddler class right now. Is that what you want to keep doing, or do you want to go to different age groups? What do you want to do to help inspire the younger generation to get into the art world?
I would love to inspire younger generations like toddlers and kindergartners, elementary schoolers in art and helping them. But my real passion would be high schoolers. I think they just need a way to express all those emotions that are building up in them. And art was a way that I got to express that. And I think that's a great way for others to express it.
This is Nikki, and we are back at Art Hop. I'm with a Mr. Ike Turner, who is a English professor at KVCC, and when he's not teaching, he moonlights as a musician. And now you're telling me that you are acquaintances and friends with a lot of the artists being featured at Art Hop tonight. How do you feel seeing other artistic members of your community going forth and sharing their art?
I'm so proud of them. I'm so stoked. I know that all of them have this incredible creativity in them. They're such lovely people. I know all of them here. I've been at the college for a long time, and I'm so very proud to work with all of them. My friend Jim has his lovely photographs here. Beth Purdy has his great pieces. I mean, I could name all of them, but I won't. And I am deeply, deeply, deeply honored to be part of this community, and that they call me a friend. I'm stoked on that.
I am with Jadon Hawkins, who a lot of the artists tonight have done either canvas art or I've seen mathematical equations. You have done something entirely different and done a type of culinary art and done an edible art piece. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what inspired you to do that for tonight.
So I started doing this catering, and I would supply the grazing boards for the art hop. And Cindy, who works here, was like, you should submit your grazing board, because it's so beautiful, as an art piece. And I took her up on it, and I've never done anything like this. This was literally my first time ever doing something like this. So I just thought it'd be a great way to get people interacting with it, and then kind of bringing light to culinary arts, because sometimes it can kind of get lost in the mixed media world when it comes to art. So try to just bring light to that a little bit.
All right, my name is Nikki, and we're back at Art Hop with a Miss Renita McGuire. Now, I know that you told me before the interview that you are an art teacher. What came first, being a professional artist or teaching art?
Being a professional artist, actually. I've been doing art most of my life.
And how long have you been teaching art to students?
6 years now. I teach at Kendall College of Art and Design and here at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. I love doing what I do.
I love it. Now, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your art pieces today. We do have some footage of them as well. I was wondering if you could tell us what inspired you to create those or what feelings you hope to invoke with those pieces.
Well, the watercolor piece that I have called Bestie is actually a painting of my dog. I do a lot of advocacy for pit bulls, and I have a pit bull. I'm training him to be a service dog. I feel they're bravely misunderstood and abused and overpopulating the shelters, but he's my best friend. He's a great dog.
Hi, this is Nikki with Public Media Network, and we are back at Art Hop. I'm with Elaine Unziker. It's very nice to meet you. Now, we were talking a little bit for the last 5-10 minutes about some of your work, and I wanted to see if you could reiterate to me on what got you started into chainmail making and what brought you to making clothing with it as compared to armor.
So I got my MFA, and while I was getting that, my professor said, you might want to learn some new techniques. So I signed up for a chainmail workshop. And I discovered in that workshop that one, it was something I really liked. Two, that the metal was super soft in this format. And three, that I did pretty well with it because I was actually mixing different colors of metal and creating patterns. And the instructor said, I don't even do that, which is really cool. And I realized from working with it more that there wasn't really anybody doing contemporary chainmail work. And I really wanted to pursue that to see what I could come up with.
Is there any advice that you have to someone who wants to test the limits with their art, wants to test the limits with their jewelry making, but is scared to do so?
You just have to step out of your comfort zone a lot. Sometimes, sometimes the best things happen when you step into that dream place, the place that you don't know is there, right? So one of my bigger dresses just kept showing up in a dream. Like, I don't know how many months I had this dream, but it kept popping up. And I kept saying, no, I can't do it that way. Chainmail doesn't do that, because I wanted to boof out. And I don't know, I think it was about the third time, and I kind of listened to this. If I get an image in my head and it stays there and it keeps coming out like that, obviously something needs to happen. So I figured it out. I actually made that kind of a dress.
I'm Nikki, and we are back at Art Hop 2025. I'm with Jutta Wilberding, who is the now owner of the Combat Ready Art Forge. And I wanted to specifically come and talk to you tonight because I have been interested in blacksmithing and forging since I was in middle school. I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you got into this art world and what it means to you to create the pieces that you do.
So I got into it because my youngest started classes with John Reeves, who became my husband, but wasn't at the time. He started the forge here in 2010. That year, I kind of call it my book study time, where I was watching him work, asking questions, things like that. And then I started taking pictures during the classes, because I'm also a photographer. And as we started dating, I took over more of the boring business bits, but then of course you want to learn, you step foot in here and you want to learn. So then I started learning from there.
You are holding a beautiful piece that actually debuted in an episode of Forged in Fire. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about this piece, what it took in making it and what it means to you now as a part of that history.
So this sword, Forged in Fire reached out to us in 2023, late 2022, to film an episode in 2023. We didn't know that we were making the challenges that the contestants were doing. We were just making swords because so many students wanted to make swords. We wanted to time it. So this one took me 10 and a half hours to make from start to finish. I didn't know they were going to choose it, so that was kind of fun. Now it's just a good memento, and there are times in here where you're making something and it's really fun and you make it and that's really fun. But then there are times when you make something and you're like, I just made a family heirloom. So I'm going to be the crazy great-great-grandma that stories are told about, 100 years from now when they bring the sword out, And that's awesome. I mean, what could be better?
Now, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, so I'm going to ask one more question. Do you have any advice for anyone that wants to get into this art or wants to take up this hobby, wants to take up this business?
Learn from a real life person. Everybody learns from Forged in Fire or YouTube. They are very helpful, but this is a trade that was always taught as an apprenticeship. And there is definitely a benefit to having somebody watching you and say, don't do that, do it that way, and tell you why. I learned from my husband, who had been a blacksmith for 45 years. He learned from an old angry blacksmith, he would say, who had been doing it for 50 years. who had learned from somebody who had been doing it 50 years before that. You have all that history and experience when you're learning from someone.
PMN. Media for you, by you.